Right now, if you sell a barrel of oil out of Ohio, the companies that sell it would pay Ohio 20 cents on, like $115 barrel of oil. And that's ridiculous. And the liquids, which are not even taxed in Ohio, these are the very valuable assets we have under the ground. So what I'm saying to these companies and to my friends in the legislature is, look, we modernized the severance tax, boost it up to a reasonable amount where companies can recover their costs, don't make it too high, and then take all those dollars and reduce the income tax in Ohio. The reason it's important is, one, you want the dollars circulating in the state. You don't want them going back to Texas or Oklahoma or China or wherever. Secondly, it'll help small business and it will help families. And it's just a tremendous opportunity for the state of Ohio for its long-term economic security. So I think we're going to get there on this. I'm more optimistic than I was a couple days ago. There's some good things happening, and I'm going to give the legislature a little bit more time to catch its breath. But because we've given them, John, we've given them a 3,500-page bill, and they're working their way through it. And patience at this point is a good way to think about this.
How tough and how big is the oil and gas lobby in this state?
Well, I mean, look, for the ones that have been here traditionally, we're actually trying to reduce their taxes because they scrape out a living. But for the ones that are going to come in and go underground and hydraulic fracture and bring all these assets up, they're the big boys. They're the Chevrons and the Anadarkos and the Chesapeakes. They're a powerful group, but they're good business people. And look, I mean, my job is to make sure that even if you're a good businessman, that everybody in Ohio is going to benefit from the profits and the great success that you are likely to have in the state. So they're naturally going to say, well, no. Just like I went through with the gambling industry. They didn't want to give any more, and they ended up giving. And these are things that I've been doing all my life. I was back in the Congress when hammers and screwdrivers cost $10,000 a piece, and I was one of the first people to find that. And it was a long struggle, but we cleaned that up as well. So it's just what you do in this business. You put the public out there first. We want the jobs. We don't want to damage the industry, but you know what? Every Ohioan's got to benefit. Because if we don't benefit in Ohio, their shareholders, investors, boards of directors, officers of the company, they're the ones that are going to get all the benefit. Other states like Texas, Oklahoma, they have been exporting their taxes to us and getting rid of their income taxes by making us pay through their severance tax. It's time that Ohio starts to export some of our tax burden to some other states. And so it's really would be a tremendous win-win-win for Ohio.
Some Republicans obviously don't want to tax the industry, but some Democrats say we're not taxing them enough. Is it difficult trying to find that balance?
Well, you want to get to a point where you feel that you're going to be in sort of the lower end, because we don't want to send a bad message to the industry. Is there any magic on our number? Not any real magic, but we feel it's about right. And, and I think the industry over time will recognize that, as long as we don't nickel and dime them every year, and what I've told them is, hey, we get this done, we'll be done. And we're not going to keep coming back and trying to take more from you. But we need this. I mean, one of the companies said they expected to take $1 trillion out of the state. At a 4% severance tax, that's $40 billion of tax relief if that's what happens. Now, nobody quite knows what's under the ground, but the companies have made, in the last week or so, $1.5 billion worth of investment. They know there's gold in them thar hills, and I want to make sure they don't take all that value out of this state, and everybody across the state doesn't benefit. And think about this. When Ohioans have more money, when small businesses have more money, they circulate the dollars in our communities. Our banks hold it, they have better reserves, they can lend better. Our restaurants, everybody does a little bit better as a result. And look, we are now the #1 job creator in the Midwest, #5 job creator in the country. I think the administration has a good sense of how we can continue to strengthen things, and this is as I like to describe it, it's a bluebird that flies in the window, that all this wealth that's in the ground can really benefit every single Ohioan and make us stronger.
There's some concern, though, that the income tax cut would benefit the wealthiest of Ohioans more.
Well, everybody would be cut the same. I mean, if you pay more, you're going to get a bigger cut. But everybody, we would cut every rate across the board equally. And the whole business of, class warfare, look, we just want to reduce this income tax, and this high rate of 5.9%, it's too high. Now, it's not going to magically disappear, but everything we do to bring that rate down is going to benefit our state and make us more competitive. I just had some businesses in my office yesterday. When they come in and they talk about Ohio, none of them say, hey, can you raise my costs? What they do is they come in and they say, what's the future for us? Can we be effective here? John, job creation is a moral issue for me. A lot of people think it's an economic issue. Well, it's an economic issue that gets into morality. When people have jobs, their families are stronger, their kids do better. That's all I care about. So I'm not going to let this thing go. And like I say, I've been receiving some good news here in the last 24 hours, and I'm hopeful we're going to be able to see some real progress here.
Do you have a time frame in mind?
Well, I think it needs to be done before the end of this year, and there has to be some sort of a commitment that it will get done, and then I think we'll be fine. Right now, I'm sort of like with the Cleveland school plan. I'm letting people have a chance to kind of work things out, give them a little break, and I think that's the right strategy to pursue now to ultimately have success.